Ahoy, this is Zdenka. So, which variable ND filter should you buy? Should you go with the expensive one or should you go with the cheap one? Is there a big difference between the cheap one and very expensive one? Is the cheap one actually any good? Do you really have to spend that kind of money on expensive variable ND filter? Let's face it, once you get to photography and video, the things are not cheap. You will have to reach down to your pocket many times, pull out some money because you need a camera, you need lenses, you need light, you need memory cards, you need batteries, you need computer and all that. And if you do video, you will definitely need variable ND filter. And all those things, I'm wondering myself. I've collected these variable ND filters over the time, and I simply don't know. I want to know myself which variable ND filter should I use with my mirrorless and which variable ND filter works best with the smartphone I have. And perhaps you're in a market, you're learning about variable ND filters and you want to know some answers as well. So that's why I decided to share this test with you as well. Let's get some clarity here. First of all, let me show you everything I have here. Let me show you which filters I'm using with what camera and when. Let's start with the mirrorless cameras. My main camera is Canon M6 Mark II for now, and second camera or backup camera is Canon M50. Usually I'm just using 15 to 45 millimeters kit lens. However, for the B-roll, I'm lately really enjoying lots of Viltrox speed booster combination with EF lenses, 50 millimeters, 24 to 105 millimeters, and 70 to 200 millimeters. So for the kit lens, 15 to 45 millimeters, I have two options here. By the way, if you don't know what size of variable filter you need for your lens, if you look at the lens, usually it is written here in the front part at the bottom. Here it says 49 diameter. That's the size of the variable ND filter you need to buy. One option here is this cheap variable ND filter I purchased, and it is Promaster 52 millimeters HGX variable NDX. This one I found on Amazon for 44 American dollars. Second one I have here is Tiffen 52 millimeters variable ND filter USA. This one was double. I paid $87. If you are wondering why 52 millimeters when the kit lens 15 to 45 millimeters has 49 millimeters thread, it is because I also like to use it with Nifty 50 lens, the 50 millimeters lens, which has thread 52 millimeters. To make it fit on the smaller lens, I simply use step up or step down rings. Don't worry, everything I'm showing in today's video is listed below the video in a video description, so you don't need to write it down for those interested, so you can check it after this video. These two filters I also like to use when I'm filming with my smartphone, if I'm using gimbal, because they are small. And the cheaper one is actually lighter for the gimbal. Less weight, less pressure on the motors. I have iPhone 11 Pro, moment case on it, and I attach the filters with Moondog Lab universal filter lens attachment. But am I making the right choice? Should I use the cheaper one or should I use the more expensive one? But I want to see the colors, I want to see how the filter performs. Let's test it out. Next, I have few big 77 millimeters filters, which I like to use with EF lenses 24 to 105 and 70 to 200 millimeters. The filters are Tiffen 77 millimeter variable ND filter USA, and I bought it for 125 American dollars. Then I have here combo. Two filters, 77 millimeters from Freewell, which were sent to me a long time ago for a review. One is 2 to 5 stop and another one is 6 to 9 stop ND filter. They split into two. The cost of this combo is $219 right now. These huge filters, believe it or not, I also like to use on my smartphone when I'm not filming with gimbal. I like to use ProTake app because it has insane stabilization options built in, so I pretty much don't need a gimbal for some quick shots. The way I attach the 77 millimeter filter on my smartphone is with the Moondog Lab filter attachment, and also this crazy step up ring, 52 millimeters to 77 millimeters. I know it looks crazy, but it feels like I'm holding something in my hands. It actually makes me drop my phone less. I actually do like that fact that I'm holding some sort of a weight in my hands. I know it looks crazy. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. If I should really use the smaller filter or the bigger filter on my phone, let's test it. Let's start with the smaller filters first. What I want to see is the color. So I'm going to be filming just the sky because that's the easiest. I want to see the vignetting. I want to see the cross-hatch pattern, bending and all that. I just want to see how they perform and compare them with each other. Now, cross-hatch pattern happens with variable ND filters because basically those are two filters on top of each other. And when you twist it too much, you make it way too dark, you are gonna get the cross-hatch pattern. It's a very dark effect. To get away with it, you just need to back up a little bit. If you are using hard ND filter, it's not gonna happen because there's no mechanism. There's no two filters on top of each other. It's basically just one solid filter. Here's footage with no filter on. I just increased the shutter speed. I'm leaving the lens on 15 millimeters, the widest, as that is where bending and crosshatch patterns happens the most. If you zoom in, if you're fully zoomed in on 45 millimeters, you're not gonna get that much of a bending and crosshatch pattern. Let's quickly look at those two filters up close and let's look at the difference. The more expensive Tiffen filter has dots, so you kind of know where the stops are. And the cheaper one, Promaster, doesn't have dots, but more of these marks. None of them has numbers, which would be really nice to have. Cheaper one is lighter, more expensive one is heavier. Let's start with photos. Let's start with the shot of the sky. Here is the color of the sky from 15 to 45 millimeters lens with Canon M6 Mark II, no filter. Now let's show the shot of the sky with the filter Promaster, which is the cheaper one. And here's a shot of the sky with the Tiffen filter on, a little bit more expensive one. Let's put them side by side. And now let's look at the footage. Let's look at the bending and cross hatch as I would go from the lightest to the darkest. I'm just gonna let that run. You be the judge on your own. I'm gonna be also looking at it as well. So here's Promaster first. Let's start with minimum and go darker and darker. Now you can see that it is showing bending and here we have those cross hatch patterns. Let's do the Tiffen, more expensive one, filter and start with minimum. Go darker and darker and bending happens here and cross hatch. A bit different effect. I don't know how about you, but I'm for some reason actually leaning towards the cheaper one, towards Promaster. It's just, to me, the color of the sky is a little bit closer to the natural look, to the original look, just with the lens. I like the fact that the Tiffen is more heavy duty, but for some reason I'm leaning towards the Promaster, but that's just what I'm thinking. You might have different opinion. Okay, 77 millimeters filters are next. What makes them different? One thing is that Freewell filters have the actual number, so you know exactly what stop you are using. The Tiffen filter doesn't have the stops, but it has those dots. First, let's look at photo and a video of no filter, just footage with 24 to 105 millimeters lens. I have it at its widest, 24 millimeters. Next, let's look at Tiffen, 77 millimeters. Photo of the sky is here, and let's compare the photo of the sky with Freewell 77 millimeters variable ND filter. I can clearly actually see that Freewell is closer to the sky color with no filter. Let's look at bending and the cross hatch. Now here it is gonna be very clear because Tiffen is just one filter, but Freewell has split those filters into two, so there is a less chance of having such a strong effect. But first, let's put the Freewell 225 stop ND filter, variable ND filter. don't know how about you, but I gotta say that Freewell is definitely the choice for me. Very simply, I like the color of the sky. It's just way closer to the color of what I would get with no filter. And also that the fact that they split those filters into two instead of just having one, there's less chance of having the crosshatch. Let's move on to the smartphone, and here's gonna get interesting. First of all, I was doing the test in the Filmic Pro app, and I had the white balance locked. Here's a photo of the sky and footage of the sky with no filter. First is Promaster, and here is a photo of the sky with Tiffen filter. I must say that Promaster is closer to the natural color of the sky. That would be the cheaper filter. Let's look at bending, how it is going to affect footage on a smartphone. You be the judge yourself. Although Tiffen filter has, a little bit more of a, I would say, sturdier filter, I'm still leaning towards the Promaster again because I simply like the color of the sky a little bit better. I just like the performance a little bit better. The same thing like with the mirrorless. I think I'm gonna go with the cheaper filter. Let's test those huge filters with the smartphone. So here's a shot again of the sky with no filter. When I look at the shots of the sky with those filters, I see Tiffen, the closest to the real sky, but still half of the photo is looking way off. Let me show you all photos with those filters. Let's look at the video. Now, when I'm looking at Tiffen, I simply see way too much of one color and another color on the other half of the shot. I'm simply not liking it with the smartphone. The 2 to 5 stop Freewell filter wasn't enough, so I grabbed the 6 to 9 stop Freewell variable ND filter, and I kind of liked that. Still though, when you look close, you can see the sky being just sort of like a colorful. I think honestly I'm gonna stay away from using those big filters on the smartphone. I think I'm gonna go with the smaller size of the filters. So my choice out of this whole test would be for mirrorless camera with the small lenses, I would go for the cheaper one, 52mm variable ND filter over the Tiffen one. That would be the Promaster. Now for smartphone, I'm gonna stay away from those huge giant filters. I'm gonna go with the smaller filter, which is 52mm Promaster. And when it comes to large lenses, the EF lenses, 77mm filter, definitely my choice is Freewell. I got to say that I definitely liked the result way better. Now I have to give a big shout out to Gerald Undone, which inspired me to make this video. He did something similar a year ago when he was comparing some of his filters, and I actually started wondering about my own filters, and I really wanted to know because I was so confused with some of those results I was getting as I was mixing those filters. So thank you very much for inspiring me. I hope that this video helped to some of you, which are maybe in the market for new variable ND filters. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to all future videos. If you have any questions, comments, or simply want to say hi or ahoy, you know what to do. Just leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you, my friends, in the next video. Ciao, ahoy.